Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego with my beautiful wife, Karina. It's April 16th, 2025. Welcome to your Green Card K1 Visa channel, spousal visa channel. This is the go-to place to be if you want to be able to process your green card and your K1 visa and not pay an immigration attorney thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Use that money for your family, for your honeymoon, for your wedding, etc. That's all I'm going to say on that. Okay, I'm not saying immigration attorneys do a bad job. They do a good job for the most part. There's a few people, there's a few out there that make big mistakes, but you don't need an immigration attorney. The only time you need an immigration attorney to help you with this is if you have a bad criminal record. Okay, I'm talking about the U.S. citizen sponsor and also the beneficiary. If you're a U.S. citizen sponsor and you got a bad criminal record, go to an immigration attorney, have that immigration attorney adjudicate your criminal record and see if you qualify for the K1. If you qualify for the K1 visa, you're good to go. Then go home and jump on this channel and I'll guide you through the process to process the green card or the K1. If the immigration attorney tells you you're not going to qualify, then don't waste your time putting a K1 visa package together. Find somebody in the United States to get married to. Okay? If an immigration attorney says, well, if you pay me this much money, I will try to help you overcome your criminal record. After he told you probably don't qualify, don't waste your money because you're not going to qualify. Okay? Save the money for something else. Now, we hope everybody's doing well. We hope everybody's having a great week. Today's Wednesday, right? It's Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. It's Passover week. So we hope, if you celebrate Passover, we hope you're having a wonderful week so far. You got Good Friday coming up, and then you got Resurrection Sunday coming up, which is good also. Go to church and do your thing. We don't say Happy Easter on this channel because we don't celebrate Anglo-Saxons goddesses from thousands of years ago. We say Happy Passover, Happy Good Friday, Happy Resurrection Sunday. That's what we say here. We don't say Happy Easter. We have our cat Riddy, who's a new amigo for our other cat Vinny, and he's crying at the door and wants to come in and join us on the live stream. So here we go. Let's bring the cat in. This is Riddy, this is Karina's other buddy. Okay. If you are in the process of filing a K1 visa, try to relax. Make sure you file a strong visa. Make sure you put together a good package of information. We have, if you've only dated somebody for 6 months and you've only met him once for a week, and Riddy's agreeing with me, if you've only dated somebody for 6 months and you've only met him once for a week, that's not enough evidence for K1 visas, okay? Especially at the embassy interview, especially in countries like Morocco, Indonesia, okay, Japan, Ghana, and if you are in a relationship with somebody and you've only known them for 6 months, that's not enough time in order to establish a timeline of a relationship in order to get a guarantee approval for your K1. Okay? You want to date each other for at least a year. You want to have made at least 2 trips to go visit your future husband or wife, at least two trips at a minimum. You want to have pictures and pictures and pictures with your beneficiaries, family, and friends. Like when I was in Colombia with Karina, we dated for 3 years. I spent 2.5 years, close to 3 years, living in Colombia we rented an apartment together. And I was back and forth from Colombia to the United States, raking in those frequent flyer miles. Okay, but I never cash them in. I just probably donate them to somebody. But here's the thing. We dated a long time. And Karina knows everything about me, and I know everything about her. I met her family. She's met my family. She's met my brother. We go hang out with my brother at his house sometimes. And he has a YouTube channel also where he evaluates and gives his opinion on movies. He's a movie buff. Okay? So If you go to your visa interview and you've only been knowing each other for 9 months and you've only met each other once for a very brief period of time, don't be surprised if you get a hard time at the visa interview. Okay? Now, listen, kitty. We got this cat right here. Now, this is Riddy. Look at the right here. Riddy is the camera. He wants to climb around the camera. He wants to climb around everything and no doubt knock stuff over. So let's see what happens. See, can you see his ear sticking in the camera there? Now, if you've only known each other for a short period of time, and a short period of time is 11 months or less in the eyes of immigration. So what's the secret here? You want to date somebody for at least a year, make at least 2 trips to go see them, make acquaintances with their family, know everybody, know everything about your beneficiary. Corinne knows everything about me. I know everything about her. The only person I haven't met is her mom and her sister, which is, I would love to meet her mom and sister, but I can't because they live in Venezuela. Well, hopefully we can get them out of Venezuela and maybe get them into Colombia. We'll see what happens. And then we can go visit when Corinne is a U.S. citizen. So I get a message, from somebody saying that their beneficiary went to the visa interview at the embassy, the scary visa interview, and now they're on a week's hold. The immigration officer is like, time out. You've only met each other once. You've hardly known each other. You hardly know each other. Why would you want to get married? Right? Before you file your K-1 visa, before you send it off, make sure that you have been in a relationship for at least 12 months and you've made at least 2 trips to see your beneficiary. Okay? Mi amor, por favor, ayuda gata. Arriba para esta. It's like, I can't help you if you don't have enough evidence of your relationship, right? You got to have enough evidence of your relationship. If you don't, it's going to be very difficult for you to get qualified, especially right now with the new administration. Okay, they're going to be very strict on these K-1 visas and green card applications. They're going to be very strict. And can you blame them? Corinne and I dated for 3 years. We got married on the beach in Florida, and we renewed our vows a year later, plus in Las Vegas, Nevada. And we're planning another vacation for next summer. More likely I think we'll probably go to New York City for a vacation. Hopefully the hotels are emptied out by then with all the illegal immigrants that were using them. And then we can go up there and have a great vacation. I've got the MAGA pixie dust ready to go right here for your applications. I've got some Mountain Dew salutes ready to go if you've got your green cards approved. Another thing to remember is this: before you file for your green card, make sure you have studied the paperwork carefully. You haven't made any paperwork errors, no typos. You haven't spelled your beneficiary's name incorrectly. You haven't transposed any information. And the question I get a lot is, when is the best time to apply for the green card once you get married? Well, my advice is to wait 58 to 65 days and apply for the green card at around the 65-day mark from after you get married. That's enough time to get your beneficiary on the bank as a joint owner, to get some bank statements coming in, to get some bills coming in, because you got to be commingling funds, right? You want to both be on the electric bill, the water bill, the trash bill, the sewer bill, the internet bill, the phone bill, the direct TV bill, whatever you got, the cable bill, whatever you do. You want to be showing a joint responsibility of household expenditures. This is once you get married and you got your social security number and you're in the United States. Okay? You want to show responsibility, commingling funds. You got to prove that you live under the same roof. Karina passed her Florida driver's test, but we didn't include her driver's license in her 2-year green card application because she didn't have a driver's license yet. Okay? But that's okay. How did we prove that she lives here? Well, she's on the deed to the house. She's on the electric bill. She's on the water bill, the trash bill, the sewer bill. Those bills came in. She's on the bank. So when we got 2 bank statements that came in, all that went into the 2-year green card application. And she has my health insurance. Evidence of health insurance has to go into the 2-year green card application. Proof of repeat medical exam. You got to redo the medical exam for the green card. You got to have a brand new 693 signed by a doctor in America for the green card. Recertify your vaccinations. And all this went into effect in December of last year. Okay. When Karina came to the United States, first thing we did was got her social security number, and then we got her medical exam redone for her green card. Okay, those were the two important things. And then we got her on the health insurance. And then we put her on the bank and on all the bills. Okay, we even got a little, see, this is a little Venezuelan flag right here that Karina's friend, is tu amiga or familia? So Karina's friend in Venezuela gave Karina this Venezuelan flag, and she asked us if we would fly it sometimes on the channel. Okay, well, here it is. Here's the Venezuelan flag. But, you know, there's just is that too many stars? Muchas estrellas, necesito menos uno? Karina said there's too many stars on here. Maduro, the communist dictator of Venezuela, he added a star. No, he didn't? It was Chavez. Oh, I stand corrected. Hugo Chavez, the communist dictator of Venezuela, he added a star. And Venezuelans don't like that because he was interfering with the flag of Venezuela. So the Venezuelans were like, Chavez, stick it where the sun don't shine. Now, what's coming up Sunday? We got Resurrection Sunday coming up, right? And in Resurrection Sunday in Venezuela, guess what they do? They make an effigy of Maduro, the president of Venezuela, and they set fire to him. Just like in England, they have Guy Fawkes Night, right? In November, I think it is. They have Guy Fawkes Night. Well, in Venezuela, they have not Guy Fawkes Night, but they have a name. I don't remember the name. Nombre to the. That's what it is. Basically, they're burning Judas. You know, Judas was basically was the guy that one of the apostles that turned Jesus in and got him, crucified by the Romans. So on Sunday, they create a Judas and they put a face of Maduro on the effigy and they burn him all over Venezuela. So if I was the president of Venezuela, okay, I wouldn't be too happy about that. But the people don't like being under communism. So it's just stuff, it's just information for you. Your green card application will get approved. Your K1 visa application will get approved if you qualify for the benefit. How do you do it? You got to prove your relationship to lots of people. First, you got to get the paperwork squared away for Louisville, Texas. So you put your K1 visa package together. It goes to Louisville, Texas. They look at it. You made the check out to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security for the correct amount for the K1 visa application. They get it. They check it. They make sure you signed it, the I-129F. If you didn't sign it, it's coming back to you. Once you make it through that gate, then it goes to the service center, California, Texas, Nebraska, wherever the service center they send it to. Then you got to wait about 6-7 months, and then they look at it. And if they don't find any mistakes, if there's no problems, that person approves it. And then a second person will do a secondary look at it. And then it gets sent to the National Visa Center in New Hampshire. They get a hold of it, your K1 visa application now, and they check it to make sure there's no mistakes from USCIS at the service center. They didn't miss anything. You make it through the National Visa Center. They look through your stuff. If you make it to that part without any problems, then it goes to the embassy where in the country where your beneficiary lives or where her consular interview is going to be at. If you live in Burundi in Africa, you're going to have your K1 visa interview in Kenya, in Nairobi, Kenya. Why is that? I don't know. Okay. But if you live in Burundi in Africa, I think it's like Central East Africa, your K1 visa interview will be in the U.S. Embassy in Nairobi, Kenya. Just food for thought. If you're having your K1 visa interview in Bogota, Colombia, or in Dominican Republic, you don't have to translate any documents into English. Birth certificates, the letter of intent to get married can be written in Spanish, doesn't need to be translated into English if you are in Bogota, Colombia. So if you're going to the embassy in Bogota, the U.S. Embassy in Bogota, bring your beneficiary's original birth certificate, make a copy of it, bring her letter of intent or his letter of intent to get married, written in Spanish, okay? You don't have to translate it. When you get to the United States of America and you file for the 2-year green card, then your beneficiary's birth certificate must be translated into English by an authorized translator. The SpanishGroup.org is an authorized translator for USCIS. They don't pay me to say that. I just know that's a fact because I use them all the time. I used them for years for helping with Karina's paperwork. I was in Bogota, Colombia, and then her mom got her college transcripts from the university in Caracas, Venezuela. They sent them to me. I got them. They're all in Spanish. So I got Karina's college transcripts sent to the SpanishGroup.org in California. They translated it into English, and they adjudicated her college transcripts into a U.S. equivalency of a degree in taxation, in accounting. I got that. I put it in her K-1 visa application, and I put it in her green card application for her 2-year green card. So immigration knows that Karina has a degree in tax accounting, and they can read her college transcripts because we translated them into English. Okay? If you are a beneficiary, I don't care what country you live in, if you have a college degree, okay, I don't care, it's a 2-year, 4-year college degree, a PhD, a master's degree, whatever it is, it's very important you include that education level in your green card application and the K-1 visa application. Okay? Your sponsor, make him or her responsible for getting it translated into English and adjudicated into a U.S. equivalency. Right now, immigration is looking very hard at your education level, Miss Beneficiary, Mr. Beneficiary. They want to know what your education level is. You know, that's part of the deal going on right now. They're studying how far you've taken your level of knowledge. If you are living in Colombia and you're a Colombian citizen and you're going to a U.S. Embassy interview in Bogota and you can speak English, then you can have your visa interview in English. If you are a Colombian national that doesn't speak any English, or a Venezuelan national, and you don't speak English, you can go to your visa interview in Bogota, Colombia, and have your interview in Spanish. You don't need a translator, okay? Now, when you get to the United States and you file for your green card and you have to go to a green card interview and your beneficiary doesn't speak English, I recommend that you bring a translator with you to translate the questions of the immigration officer. But in your home country, in Colombia especially, you don't have to do that, okay? I got a lot of people watching us from Colombia. They don't necessarily watch the live stream when I do the live stream, but once the live stream terminates, you know, they watch it tomorrow, or they watch it tonight, or the next day, or in a couple of days, they'll watch this video, this live stream, because I put out very important information, and it doesn't cost you a penny to get this important information. I also give you an opportunity to ask me questions about your case. Okay. I also now want to say welcome aboard to Johnson M. and Ronnie Tripp. They're 2 new members of our channel. They just signed up, Johnson M. and Ronnie Tripp. Welcome aboard. They are now members of the channel, and they will be given access to my phone number, my cell number, my email address, etc. So if you're watching Johnson M. and Ronnie Tripp, you feel free to text me, call me, or email me your questions regarding your K-1 visa green card process. They are members of the channel. If you want to be a member of the channel, you can sign up and you'll get my contact info. Then you can call me if you have an urgent matter, especially if you're getting into an NOID. So we have 28 members, and one person, I guess I helped this person enough to where they don't need to be a member anymore. So we got one person canceled, and we got 2 new persons signed up. So we got a total of, right now, 28 active members, and I'm going to open it up to 50. Okay, then I'm not going to go past 50. That's more than enough for me to handle. If you want to sign up, you'll have my phone number, email. You can call me, text me, and ask me your questions, and I'll even step by step go through the DS-160 with you. I'll even go through page by page of your 485, your whatever documents you're having trouble with. You can screenshot it to me to my cell phone, and then I'll do it for you and send it back to you, so you can understand how to do this correctly without making any mistakes. You can't make a mistake in this process, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You cannot make a mistake. If you make a mistake, immigration's either going to send everything back to you or deny your green card. All right? On the financial side of things, if you don't make enough money, okay, get a joint sponsor. If you make $4,000 or $5,000 above the minimum for the 125%, get a joint sponsor. Even though you qualify, but you're just over the qualification level, you could get an immigration officer that wants to see you get a joint sponsor. Even though you qualify, but you qualify by $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000. If you're not at least $5,000 or $6,000 over the minimum of 125%, I recommend you get a joint sponsor. That way, you know for sure you're not going to get an RFE for income. Lots of people make mistakes on the 864, the affidavit of support. They can't figure out how to put the family size down because I think it's on page 5, but it's a very confusing form. It's confusing. Most mistakes come from the green card application because the sponsor messed up the 864. And the reason they mess it up is because it's a confusing form. And I fully understand that, okay? I will help you get through it. I will unconfuse you so you don't have to try to figure it out. You can send me screenshots to my cell phone and I'll fix it for you if you make any. But don't be sending in a green card application and you got a gut feeling that you made a mistake on the 864. Because if you get a gut feeling you made a mistake, then more than likely you messed it up, okay? On the 864, there's an automatic generated 1 for family size. Well, there is no such thing as a family size of 1. It doesn't exist in immigration. The minimum family size is 2. So you're looking at the 864 and you see the 1 is printed automatically by immigration. You get some whiteout and you white it out, calculate your correct family size, and then get a black ink pen and write the correct a number in there for your family size. There was one person that put the family size at the top and left the 1 at the bottom because I thought that was the number because immigration created the 1. And then 2 weeks later, their whole green card package got sent back to them because they didn't fill out the freaking form properly. Don't make any mistakes on the 864. Don't make it, and don't forget to sign the paperwork too. You got to sign it and date it. When you sign an immigration form, you have to sign your full name, your first name, your middle name, and your last name. And you have to do it in your best cursive. Just pretend you're in high school and you're signing your name in cursive because immigration needs to be able to read your name. If you're a doctor, let's suppose you're a doctor and you sign your name like a doctor, as a tick in a line. Immigration will send your stuff back to you and say, you did not sign this form. That's all they're going to say. You didn't sign it. Okay? When you sign an immigration form, affidavit of support, declaration of financial support, I-129F, the I-751, when you lift in the conditions off the 2-year green card, sign your name, first name, middle name, last name in your best cursive so that immigration can read the names. And that includes your beneficiary too, okay? It's very important. If you're going through a spousal visa, make sure when you upload your documents to the National Visa Center, you upload them exactly how they want you to upload them. If they ask you to upload your beneficiary's passport biographic page, you upload your beneficiary's biographic page, not just by herself or himself. You don't put your passport here and her passport here and then upload those because you're trying to save time. It will be denied and you're going to have to reload everything. It's going to cost you a couple of weeks of processing. Okay? The spousal visa is less expensive than the K1 visa, but you are separated longer and it takes a longer time to process. And there's more work on the behalf of the sponsor. If you file a K1 visa, there's no work on the sponsor other than putting the K1 visa package together. You mail it to the service to Louisville, goes to, the process for the K1. Then all you got to do is when you get the ready status, you send an email to the embassy and say, "Hi, I understand I got ready status. What's the next process?" In the subject line of the email, you're going to put the NOA 2-letter receipt number. And in the body of the email, you're going to identify your beneficiary: first name, middle name, last name, passport number, country of origin, etc. Okay? So when you get the ready status from the National Visa Center, you're going to get an email. You email the embassy. When I got the ready status for Karina's K1 visa from the embassy in Bogota, Colombia, I got ready status. I emailed the embassy and said, hey, this is Diego checking in. This is Karina's NOA2 receipt number. My beneficiary is Karina. Boom, 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 boom. This is her passport number. She's from Venezuela, lives in Colombia. And then 2 days later, they emailed me back and said, Diego, give us about 2 weeks, and then we will send you an email where you can then process Karina's visa interview. 11 days later, I got an email from the embassy in Bogota, Colombia, the packet 3, packet 4 email. In this email, it listed, there were links in the email. I clicked on the links and it helped me schedule her visa interview through the SIAC. It helped me pay the visa fee, the consular fee. It helped me schedule her biometrics. Okay. You do it from the packet 3, packet 4 email. And that includes Mexico, but Mexico is going to be scheduling the visa interview for you if you're a beneficiary in Mexico. You got it? So Karina, in October, I did all this from the computer right here where I'm sitting. I printed her DS-160 confirmation page right here off this printer. Oh, no, not the other printer. The other printer broke. This printer. I wore the other printer out. I got a new printer now. But I printed her DS-160. I filled out the I-134, the Declaration of Financial Support. I got my tax returns, my 1099s, etc., my pay stubs, my bank statements. I put them in a financial file, and then I flew to Colombia. We were renting an apartment together. I flew back to the apartment, and then basically I explained to Karina, this is your DS-160. You put it in your passport for your biometrics, and this is the I-134. These are my financial documents. You bring them to the visa interview. Okay. It's much better if you can, as a sponsor, if you can fly to your beneficiary's country with all this information. Because remember, the I-134 has to be signed by the sponsor. You cannot fill out an I-134, sign it, make a copy of it, PDF file it, and email it to your beneficiary. Immigration won't accept that because it's not a legal document. You have to sign the I-134, full name, so they can read it, and that original I-134 has to go to your beneficiary. You're going to have to FedEx it or DHL it or UPS it, whichever one you decide to do. Okay? You got it? Tell me you got that. If, the immigration rules are pretty strict, especially on income. Like I said, if your income's not there, don't worry, find a joint sponsor. If you make mistakes on the paperwork, you're going to hear about it from immigration. If you make mistakes on an RFE, you're only going to get one shot. They're going to give you one chance to fix the problem. If you can't fix it the first time, more likely you're going to get a notice of intent to deny your green card. Okay? That's the way it is right now. It's not, it's the congressional law that's being enforced the way it should be enforced. The Congress of the United States controls immigration into this country. The Congress. They made up all these laws, and the president years ago signed it into law, and now it's being enforced. Okay? Every country in the world has an immigration process, even Colombia. When I lived in Colombia, the Colombian government gave me a visa to live there for a year. Okay? I had to jump through hoops to get the visa to live there for a year. I had to go and do a biometrics. I had to get this done. I had to get that done. And now you got to get a medical exam, and you got to get an FBI check done if you want to get a visa to live in Colombia for a year. You got to go through the FBI police check. You got to get a medical exam, etc. Just like when if you're coming to the United States. So every country's got a process. All right. So it is what it is. Now, if you have any questions, I'm here to answer your questions. I can talk and talk and talk. But I need to help you. In order for me to help you, you need to ask me what questions that you have. If you don't have any questions, then That's great. I'll just keep talking, but I don't know what subjects you want me to talk about. Do you need an immigration attorney to process a green card? No. Do you need an immigration attorney to process a K-1 visa package? No. Do you need to pay a company to do it for you? $700, $800, $1,000. I don't know how much these companies cost to process this. No, you don't. That's why when I was in Colombia with Karina, I had a cooking channel on YouTube. Then I turned it into a Exploring Colombia channel because I knew I was going to be in Colombia for a couple of years. And then Karina said, we were in Villa de Leyva, and Karina said, why don't you make it an immigration channel? Help people get their K-1 visas, get their green cards. I said, okay, I can do that. So we went to the Tectonics electronics store in Bogota. I bought a laptop computer, came back to the apartment, had a fantastic internet connection, and I set up a live stream. So, let me see here. We got a question here. It says here, a message from, I think your text isn't showing on your computer. So nobody can read what I'm doing? Nobody can see what I'm not getting all messages are visible. Look at that. Thank you there. Now, one of our members sent me a text message. He said, the questions are not showing up. And it's Francois. She's on. It wasn't showing up. All your questions. I thought, man, I'm talking to myself. Thank you. That was from Joseph. Thank you, Joseph, for letting me know he sent me a text message. I fixed it. Let's see here. Now I can see everybody. Let's start with Aaron Lynn. Good evening, everyone. Our case just went to the ready status today. We are finalizing everything. DS-160 will be complete tomorrow. Let me break out the Mountain Dew salutes. There we go. Aaron, good job. Congratulations. Now, that's good news. I didn't see your questions and your information because it was all blanked out. Remember, I'm not a YouTube person. Karina is the technical expert, and then Joseph fixed it. Francois Livingston, good evening, Diego and Karina. Francois, are we supposed to screenshot text to each other after marriage and submit them for the 2-year and 10-year green card? Well, you've already submitted the 2-year green card, Francois, so you can forget about it for the 2-year green card. And no, you don't, because you're together. You don't have to screenshot text to each other for the 10-year green card because you guys are married and living together, so you're not texting each other. Now, I could be like this. I want to text Karina. Hey, Karina, I just text you. You're living together, Francois, so you don't have to screenshot any text messages anymore. That's all gone. That's all history. So you don't have to. Francois, Diego, are you able to see our text? No, I wasn't, but Joseph sent me a text message, and now I can see him. I just had to open up the window. I'm like, man, nobody's talking today. What's going on? Everybody's watching. Challenge your wallet with Aaron Lane. What happens if you decide not to put your spouse on your bank account? That's not a good idea. I never did this. I don't want to do it now. Well, when you get to the United States of America and you get married to your husband, you get your new husband, you have to commingle funds. Immigration wants to see commingling of funds. If you don't have a joint bank account with your husband, immigration will raise a big red flag and say, why are you not commingling funds together? Immigration want to see you in trusting each other with each other's money. Karina has a good job and I'm retired. We commingle our funds, okay? Karina can go into our bank account, I can go in, and we have commingling of funds. If Karina wants to buy something from the store, she buys something from the store, okay? I just bought a new computer, okay? I had to get it. Commingling of funds is the number one thing immigration look for, when you file a 2-year green card application. And so your question to me is, what happens if I decide not to put my spouse on the bank account? Well, immigration will probably send you a letter asking you why you are not commingling funds. Francois, Howdy, Larry, and Moggy, And Aaron Lynn, our timeline, K1 visa approved 5 months, 1 week in BC, held it for 5 weeks, ready status in Tunisia in 1 week. There you go. Well, look, that's a Mountain Dew salute to Aaron right there. Very good. Now, Aaron, you are a member of this channel. Don't forget, you can text me or call me or message me in emails, okay? Larry Piercy, howdy, cowboys and cowgirls. Howdy, Larry. Let me see. Aaron Lynn, ours is already translated into English. Do we need to do it again in America? What you need, listen, Aaron, what you need to have translated into English in the United States is a birth certificate if it's in a foreign language. So if your husband to be, your future husband, let me page down. I've got to catch up with all this stuff here. If your husband to be's birth certificate is in a foreign language, you got to get it translated into English by a certified company. Okay. And you have to include that in the green card application. Barry Gold. So when the interview takes place in Santo Domingo, it could be done in Spanish. That's correct, Barry. You are 100% correct. Jay Baxter. Barry, in Thailand, they asked my fiance if she wanted her interview in English or the native language of the area, which was Thai. And Larry Piercy. Oh, I'm still waiting. Okay, Larry and Moggy, let's put some mega pixie dust on your RFE so it speeds up. But if there was a problem with it, you would have heard from immigration already. So there's no problem. You're just in line waiting your turn. That's all. Francois, is anyone able to see each other's texts? I had to open up the screen. Joseph sent me a text. Okay, Joseph's a member of the channel. He has my phone number. He texted me and said, we can't see nobody can see anything on the screen. So I realized that it was all blocked out. So I opened it up. Jay Baxter, maybe it's frozen. And Francois, I don't think Diego is seeing our messages. That was correct. I didn't see anything. It was a blank screen, but it's okay now. Aaron, the links that you're talking about right now is what we got to do in May. Okay. And correction in our email. I gotcha. Jay Baxter, ups finally resolved whatever operational issue they had and mailed my package. So you mailed your I-485, finally. It will now arrive tomorrow, and it will sit in storage for a couple of days. Sam, my biometrics appointment was canceled back in February 18th, but rescheduling has been a nightmare. They tell us to wait. Your biometrics appointment was canceled, so I'm assuming you're in the United States of America, or is this a biometrics for the embassy or the K1 visa interview? What biometrics got canceled? In the United States or in the foreign country? Let's see here. Aaron, let's see. Mel, I got a lot of, what the, man, I can't figure, there we go. Let me see. I want to make sure I don't miss anybody here. Yeah, Jay Baxter, thanks for that text message, okay? Challenge your wallet. Oh, that's a huge problem. Mine's going to Tunisia. That country is known for stealing mail. How do I do this for the I-134? The I-134, Aaron, you have to fill it out on the computer. You got to sign it and date it with your full name, and you can put it in a FedEx or DHL and send it to your fiance in Tunisia. He's got to have the original I-134. You cannot send an email copy of it. You got to trust FedEx. Francois, challenge your wallet without who are you talking to? No problem, Jay Baxter. Hey, Jay Baxter, thanks for fixing that for us. Larry Piercy, I thought you were dragging this out. I wasn't dragging anything out. I couldn't see any messages. I couldn't answer any questions because I couldn't see them. Now I can see them. Larry Piercy, Mogi says hi to Karina and Francois.
Hi, Mogi.
And Francois, Diego, we received the NOA1 letter in the mail. Does the biometrics letter come separately? Yes, Francois. Let me see. You got the NOA1 letter, okay? And now you're going to wait for the biometrics letter. The biometrics letter is going to tell you where Hamid is going to have his biometrics done, what day, what time, okay? So the location, more than likely it's going to be in New York State somewhere, probably at the closest USCIS field office. The closest USCIS field office for us is New Orleans. So when Karina had her biometrics, we had to drive from Florida to Alabama to Mississippi to Louisiana to go for a 5-minute biometrics interview. That's 6 minutes. There's fingerprints, photo, and her full signature. So what we did was, okay, so we got to drive across 5 states or 4 states to go for a 5-minute interview. We made a weekend out of it. I said, okay, let's do this. Let's spend the night in New Orleans. And we have pictures in New Orleans. We made video in New Orleans. And we put it as, we kept it as evidence as a vacation for Karina's 10-year green card. Plus our trip to Vegas, Las Vegas. You like the t-shirt? Look at that. And Arizona, we went to Arizona. Let me see. So I just can't scan and send him the I-134 to print in Tunisia for the interview. No, you can't do that. He has to have the original I-134 signed by you in black ink. And a PDF email copy is not going to be is not a legal document. It's an email document. So you make you get the I-134, right? You fill it out and you FedEx it to him. Let me see. I understand, Aaron Lynn, that you can't just scan him. You just can't get on a plane and fly to Tunisia. I'm lucky. Bogota, Colombia was just down the street from Florida. It's Pensacola, Miami, Bogota. It's a couple of hours, 6, 8 hours. I'm in Colombia. It was easy for me to jump on a plane and do that. Tunisia is a long way away. But you got to have the FedEx copy. You got to FedEx it to him. Okay? Here's what I would do. FedEx him the original and email him a copy that he can print off of his computer. Okay? In Tunisia. Get the receipt for the FedEx copy and scan it and send it to him with the scanned I-134. So if the original I-134 gets stolen in Tunisia or lost, he can have the printed I-134 and the receipt from FedEx showing that you sent the original, but it got lost. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying, Aaron? What I just said? Scan him the copy through the email PDF, send him a FedEx original copy, and hope he gets it. And then scan him the receipt where you FedExed it to him so that you got proof. Right on the FedEx receipt, I-134 document. Original, I-134 original document. So that way the embassy, the consular officer in the embassy can see that you sent the original and you got proof that you sent the original, but it got lost. And now your backup is going to be the PDF file. And you might be lucky and get away with it. Francois, yes, you get a separate biometrics letter. Now, remember, when you go to the biometrics and you said there's a USCIS office about 1.5 hours away from where you live. So that's how far it's going to be for you to go for the Hamid's biometrics. You have to bring the biometrics letter with you. Zara. Hey, that's a pretty cool name. Zara. I'm in the United States. I got married 2 months ago. I'm working on adjustment of status. Should I file for I-130? And please explain why it's important. What? 1 second. Your question is, you want to file for the I-130 and why is it important, right? That's your question, right? That's what your question is. No, you don't fill out an I-130. It's not even part. The I-130 is not a part of the green card application for a K-1 visa. It's an I-130 is filled out for a family member. Like if Karina wants to bring her mom to the United States, we'd fill out an I-130. If somebody wants to bring their son or daughter to the United States, you fill out the I-130. So your question is, I'm working on adjustment of status. Should I fill out the I-130? No, it's got nothing to do with the green card application. The forms you need for the adjustment of status, the mandatory forms, is the 485, the 864, the I-94, and the 693, and the vaccination recertification. Those are the mandatory forms. And don't forget to include a color copy of the K1 visa application and the sponsor's passport biographic page and the beneficiary's biographic page in color. When you send a biographic page of your passport to immigration, you got to make it nice and big, and it's got to be in color. Okay. So you got married 2 months ago, and you're working on the green card application. No, you don't need an I-130. Why it's important? It's irrelevant to a green card application for a spouse. The I-130 is only you came in on a K1 visa. Okay, you came in on a K1 visa. You came in to adjust status using Form 485, not I-130. Form 485 is the adjustment of status for the green card for you. And a Form I-130 is adjustment of status or is application for a green card for a family member who isn't your husband or your wife. Mom, dad, brother, sister, son, daughter. You got it? Zara. You got it? If you have an I-130 filled out, find a shredder and run it through the shredder because you don't need it for this application. Larry Piercy, my ex-wife's name is Zara. Well, Larry, there you go. Let's see here. And Francois, you have a silly question. Well, I'm going to give a Mountain Dew salute to all the silly questions I've answered over the last, 3 or 4 years? I don't think I've hardly ever missed a live stream in like 4 years. Just occasionally, I don't do it. What's the silly question, Francois? Zara, my visa is getting expired on the 26th of April. No, your visa expired the day you landed in America. You're talking about your I-94 now. Should I file for adjustment of status sooner? Okay, Zara, let me explain to you how this works. You land in America on a K1 visa. The K1 visa becomes obsolete. It was like my old computer. It became obsolete. I couldn't get a graphics card to hold a signal to do a YouTube live stream. That's how old the computer was. So I bought a brand new computer. The old computer was the K1 visa. It's obsolete. The new computer is the I-94. Now that's real. You got 90 days to get married. Did you get married within 90 days? Yes, you did. So you're in status. Do you have to file for the green card within 90 days? No, you don't. But it's better if you do, because you want to file for the green card about 50 to 60 days, 70 days after you get married. If you don't file for the green card within 90 days, the most you can wait is 6 months. So Zara said Zara is an Islamic name. And yes, you got married. Well, we're welcome to America. We're glad you're here. Welcome to the United States. Your K1 visa became obsolete the minute your feet started walking across the airport floor and you're looking for your bag. The K1 visa became irrelevant. Then you become totally in limbo. Then you check in with a Border Patrol officer, Immigration, Customs, Border Patrol. They issue you an I-94. That becomes your green card or your proof of legal residency while you're waiting for your green card. If it expires before you file for the green card, don't worry. You have 6 months from the date you entered the United States to get married, to file for your green card. You got 90 days to get married, but you got 6 months to file for the green card. Francois, are beneficiaries assigned a new alien number for the green card? No. It's a totally different number than the previous A number. Well, they normally don't. I don't know. Maybe I could check Karina's. Maybe I should check Karina's. They normally, when you get assigned an alien number, that's it. That's your alien number for life. It's totally different number than the previous A number. So what is totally different? Above Hamid's name on the NOA1 letter, there's a different alien number than before. Okay, well so the alien number right now that is on the NOA1 letter is Hamid's alien number. That's what's going to be on his green card. Okay, don't panic, don't worry. Immigration can change an alien number if they want to. Yeah, go ahead and screenshot it and let me see it. Okay, and send it to my email and let me look at it. I'll review it for you and give you the correct answer on what's going on. But don't panic. I don't think it's a big deal. And we're going to put some mega pixie dust on Hamid's alien number. Okay. Just be glad that he's in America and you got that green card package on the way. And whatever the alien number is on his green card, that's going to be his alien number for the rest of his life. Okay. When he adjusts to a 10-year green card, it's the same green card number, alien number. I'm not panicking, just asking the professional. Yeah, normally they don't change the alien number. But if they do, they can do that. Immigration can do whatever they want. Okay? But the secret of this whole thing is to get the green card. That's the secret. And so Zara is an Islamic name. That's pretty cool. What does it mean? Does it have a specific meaning in Islam, the Zara? Or is it like, that's it? This may have a specific meaning. I don't know, cultural meaning. Come on, guys, ask me. I'm sorry I didn't get the questions answered quicker. And Larry Piercy thought I was just trying to just talk for the sake of talking. But I didn't see anything on the screen until Jay Baxter sent me a text message to the cell phone. Karina said, hey, you got a text. And I looked at it and I realized the error. But now you can see the questions, right? And everybody, you can see what's going on in the live stream, right? No issues. It was blocked out for some reason. I don't know why, but it's fixed now. Francois Livingston, I think it means flower. Okay, so Zara probably means flower. That's pretty nice. That's pretty cool. Chris and Emil, work permit comes in, wife doesn't have the state ID. So work permit will let her get the state ID? Yes. Or do I have to wait for the green card? Now, you can get a state ID with a green card or with a work permit. Because when she applies for a job, they will ask for an ID when ID is expired for 90 days. You can get, how does it work? Take the work permit to the government office where you get driver's licenses and apply for a state ID. Though, if you look at the work permit, Chris and Emil, isn't your wife from the Philippines and you're in Mississippi, right? You're in Mississippi and your wife's from the Philippines. If you look at the work permit, it's good for 5 years. So the state ID is probably going to expire on the date of the end of the termination of the work permit, which is more than enough time before so she can get her green card. All right? But good news, so we'll give you a Mountain Dew salute for getting the work permit. That's great. I'm glad to hear it. See, Chris, you're learning a lot of stuff, right? You're hanging out with Karina and I. You get to learn about extraterrestrials and aliens. And our vacation to Arizona, we went to Arizona. And we went to Segelman, Arizona, where they got the inspiration for the movie Cars, the Disney movie. We went to Pahrump in Nevada. We checked out Pahrump. We went to Pahrump, Nevada. I paid respects to Art Bell, the radio host of the night. He had a radio show for years and years and years. Let me see. Aaron Lynn. All right, we're preparing the I-134 to be mailed out tomorrow. FedEx it. What about, or DHL, probably better. DHL, go with DHL. What about my bank verification? Put it in with the DHL. Can I at least scan that and send it to him when I get done in May? Yeah, you can scan that. The bank verification can be a PDF scanned email. The tax returns can be a PDF scanned email. The W-2s. The pay stubs can be all scanned, but you got to have the original I-134, and your beneficiary has to bring his original birth certificate to his visa interview and passport. Francois, so Hamid can get a state ID until he gets his green card in New York, Mississippi. Yes. In Mississippi, yes. In New York State, I don't know. Usually a state ID is given to people who don't drive. Well, you live in New York, okay? And your state, New York, is kind of a crazy place, okay? The government are kind of crazy there. You got a governor there that is, I don't know. You got if you live in New York State and you're watching this video, you got to go to your office where you get your driver's licenses and see if you can get a state ID with a work permit. But in Mississippi, you can't. Aaron Lynn, thank you. All right, looks like we're good to go. Then thank you so much. DHL, what is that? It's a courier service. DHL is a contracted courier service that USCIS uses to move your K1 visas all around the world. So when you get your K1 visa approved and it goes to the National Visa Center, the National Visa Center is going to send it to an embassy. Karina come up with this right here. Look, this. DHL. See it? So when you get your approved K1 visa at National Visa Center, they ship it DHL in a secure diplomatic pouch because it's confidential information. So when Karina's K1 visa got approved at USCIS in California, they sent it to the National Visa Center. They sent it to Bogota, Colombia in a DHL diplomatic pouch. Francois Livingston, tell me about it. Super crazy. Yeah, New York State's crazy. I was in Staten Island back in the 80s, early 80s. I was in Staten Island. I got sick of the snow more than anything. And so I living with my aunt in Staten Island. I said, hey, aunt, I just cleared everybody's sidewalk down the street for some snow. I'm sick of clearing snow. Can you drive me to John F. Kennedy Airport, JFK in Queens? She said, why? I said, because I'm going to Florida. She said, what do you mean you're going to Florida? I said, I'm not living in New York State anymore. I'm taxed. The taxes are insane. The government's out of its mind and the weather sucks. But the people are nice. They're good people. I love the people in New York. I mean, some of my family is from New York. Some of my family. And so my aunt drove me to JFK, Queens, and I got on a one-way plane ticket to Jacksonville, Florida. And I got off the plane in Jacksonville. And it was like 95 freaking degrees. I'm like, oh man, this place is hot. So then I got on a Greyhound bus and went from Jacksonville, Florida, all the way to Fort Walton Beach. And I was checking out the stops on the way to see which would be a nice place to live. I got off the bus in Fort Walton Beach and said to the lady that ran the bus station, hey, I need a job. You hiring? She goes, no, I didn't need, I'm not hiring, but if you want, I'll give you a place to stay and food. If you want to be my runner, my errand boy, if you want to paint the walls and clean the bathrooms and unload buses and load buses, if you want to just help me out, I'll give you a place to stay. I said, okay. I was good on that. And then I did that. And then I joined the Navy. And now I'm doing a YouTube channel. Chris and Emil, can she get work permit applied for driver's license? You can get a driver's license with a work permit also. But I don't recommend you do that. Okay? Because she's going to be listed in the DMV database as a work permit, not a green card legal permanent resident. You don't want to do that. Get her a driver's license when you get the green card. Francois Livingston, to Aaron, DHL is super good and fast. I sent a box to my then fiance in the United Arab Emirates. He got it in 2 days. He got it in 2 days. Man, Mountain Dew salute to me. I'm going to choke on myself here. Okay, guys, I've been talking for an hour. Throw me some more questions. We helped Aaron out. I saved Aaron from a major catastrophe. Chris and Emil, don't worry about a freaking driver's license till you get the green card. You want to go into the DMV in Mississippi with a green card so they can log into their computer network, legal permanent resident. You don't want them to go into their computer in the DMV and put in there she is a temporary resident with a work permit. That's not good. What if all of a sudden the State Department said we're going to cancel all work permits for everybody? Then what happens? Your wife is listed as a work permit, not a legal permanent resident. Then she's in a problem, right? Karina got a work permit. She went to work. But we waited until she got her green card before she got her driver's license. Well, in Florida, it's just the right thing to do to make sure that the legality of the document is good. Then when Karina and I flew to Las Vegas, Karina used her Florida driver's license as her government ID, and it's a federal ID card now. It's recognized by the federal government. And she put her driver's license into a little computer slot at the airport, and it came back. It's Karina. And we got on the plane, and we flew here, and we flew there, and we flew back, and there was never a problem. Because when Karina put her driver's license into that slot, Homeland Security could see on the back end that she's a legal permanent resident. That's stuff you can't see as a customer at the airport, but they can. But that's what they can see. Francois, like if you're driving a car and you get pulled over for doing something stupid, your driver's license will tell the police officer a lot more things about you than you realize. They even will identify you as a concealed carry permit holder also, if that happens to be the case. Francois, thank you so much for your explanations tonight to my questions. Francois, you're welcome. Does anybody have any more questions? Do you want me to keep talking? I've been talking for an hour. And Larry Piercy thinks I'm filling in time, but I'm really not. I'm here for you. When I get questions, I'm going to answer them. Here's your opportunity. But remember, if you are, right now is an opportunity to ask me questions about your green card application. I-134s, A-64s, 485s. The most important thing also before you mail in your K-1 visa application, besides signing the paperwork, is make sure you're using the most current edition of the form. Don't fill out an I-129F tomorrow, and then 6 months from now, look for it and get it ready to send in a K-1 visa application, because more than likely that I-129F has expired. The form is timed out. So everything's going to get sent back to you if you do that. The best time to fill out the I-129F is a week before you send in the I-129F to immigration. Chris and Emma, Larry Piercy, you going to Roadhouse Grill tonight? I don't know. Francois, I wish I had questions, but we are kind of waiting and waiting and waiting. Francois, you had a bunch of questions that were very important. You had questions about his alien ID number. You had questions about biometrics and everything else. And tonight you learned that Hamid's, you're going to have about an hour and a half, 2-hour drive, depending on traffic, to go to Hamid's biometrics. Karina is going to file for her 10-year green card next March, which is 11 months from now. It's hard to believe how quick the time has gone by, right? 1 minute, I've been living in Colombia for 3 years. The next minute, we're in America, back in our house in Florida, and we've been here back home over a year. Karina's been in America almost a year and a half, and we've got a fantastic 10-year green card package ready to go. And we're still collecting evidence. The first thing I did when we got to the United States was I went to Office Depot and I bought 2 big, thick 6-inch binders. And I set them, there was nothing in them, 2 empty binders. And then I started the process for Karina's 10-year green card after we had filed for the 2-year green card. I just put our certified marriage certificate in there, the biographic page of my passport, Karina's passport, etc., etc., etc. You want to start the process for your 10-year green card, collecting the evidence, collecting the documents, before you even get your 2-year green card sent to you. You got to have a joint bank account. The first thing immigration is going to look at is when did you open up the bank account together? And then when you apply for your 10-year green card, you're going to have 2 years of joint bank statements together. So immigration can see that you have been commingling funds together for 2 years. They're looking for that stuff. How do I know that? I know that. You just listen to me, you pay attention to class, and we're going to get you through this process. Any more questions? I'm here for you. There's nothing I don't know about this process, okay? Don't ask me about student visas. I don't know anything about student visas. Don't ask me about work visas. I don't know anything about work visas. But K1 visas, green cards for 2-year and 10-year, even U.S. citizenship. If you need help with becoming a U.S. citizen, I can help you with that. Okay. If you want to bring grandma to the United States on an I-130, I can help you with that. There was a gentleman. He married a lady from the Philippines, and he lives in Minnesota. And he was always sending me super chats for Mountain Dew. Pete B. Every live stream, he'd send me a super chat for Mountain Dew. But he sent me a question, and he asked me, can I bring my stepchildren to the United States? Well, I asked why weren't they here? And he said, well, they decided to stay in the Philippines. They didn't want to miss school. And I said, okay. So he asked me, how do I bring my stepchildren to America? And I said, well, are they going to live here permanently? He said, no, they want to come here and then go back to the Philippines for school. I said, well, the only choice you have is a tourist visa. That's it. That's the only choice you have. If you have children, okay, Miss Beneficiary, you're watching me from Africa, you're watching me from Australia, England, Europe, you're watching me from all these countries around the world. If you have a child, bring that child with you to America. Bring the child with you on a K2. Don't leave the child behind because they want to continue their education. Let them continue their education in the United States, because it is going to be a pain in the rear doing the paperwork to bring them later. I'm telling you, you want to avoid as much immigration paperwork as you can, right? If you got children, bring them with you to the United States. Tell the children you're coming to the United States to go to school here. Well, I want to go to the school in Australia. No, you're going to live in America. Come on, let's go. If you want to go to school in Australia, you can do that in the future. When you're a U.S. citizen, you can go to Australia if you want. But right now, you're going to live in America with your family. Chris and Emma, Mississippi doesn't have a Texas Roadhouse. And Larry Piercy, you're only an hour away. What do you mean Mississippi doesn't have a Texas Roadhouse? Seriously? They got Texas Roadhouses all over the United States. It's a big company. They're doing pretty good. They're making plenty of money, and their steaks are pretty good. And Larry and Morgie and Karina and we sometimes hang out with Larry at Texas Roadhouse. But with that said, I'm going to give everybody a Mountain Dew salute. I'm glad we helped Erin get her paperwork figured out. And Francois says, oh, come on, the city where I live, we have two. There's two close to us. And Larry Piercy, we need to schedule one TRH. Francois, good night, beautiful people. And Jay Baxter, enjoy your night. And Chris and Emil, they have one of Elvis Presley's hometown. Elvis Presley's hometown wasn't he born in Memphis? Wasn't he? I think he was born in Memphis, wasn't he? Anyway, we'll see you guys at the next live stream. Today is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. See you Saturday. And don't forget, if you're a member of this channel, you can call me, text me, and email me tomorrow, the next day, the day after tomorrow. Thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you at the next live stream.